Vagabondia by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Off with the fetters that chafe and restrain, off with the chain! Here art and letters, music and wine, and Myrtle and Wanda, the winsome witches, blithely combine. Here are true riches, here is Golconda, here are the Indies. Here we are free, free as the wind is, free as the sea, free! Hoopla! What have we to do with the way of the Pharisee? We go or we stay at our own sweet will. We think as we say, and we say or keep still. At our own sweet will, at our own sweet will. Here we are free to be good or bad, sane or mad, merry or grim as the mood may be, free as the whim of a spook on a spree, free to be oddities, not mere commodities, stupid and saleable, wholly available, ranged upon shelves, each with his puny form, in the same uniform, cramped and disabled. We are not labeled, we are ourselves. Here is the real, here the ideal, laughable hardship met and forgot, glory of bardship, world's bloom and world's blot, the shock and the jostle, the mock and the push, but hearts like the throstle, a joy in the bush, wits that would merrily laugh away a wrong, throats that would verily melt hell in a song. What though the dimes be elusive as rhymes be, and Bessie with finger uplifted is warning that breakfast next morning, a subject she's scorning, is mighty uncertain? What care we? Linger a moment to kiss. No time's amiss to a vagabond's ardor. Thee finish the larder and pull down the curtain. Unless ere the kiss come, Black Richard or Bliss come, or Tom with flagon, or Carl with a jag on, then up and after the joy of the night, with the hounds of laughter to follow the flight of the fox-foot hours that double and run through brakes and bowers of folly and fun. With the comrade heart for a moment's play, and the comrade heart for a heavier day, and the comrade heart for ever and aye. For the joy of wine is not for long, and the joy of song is a dream of shine. But the comrade heart shall outlast art, and a woman's love the fame thereof. But wine for a sign of the love we bring, and song for an oath that love is king, and both for his worshipping. Then up and away till the break of day, with a heart that's merry, and a Tom and Jerry, and a derry down derry. What's that you say? You highly respectable buyers and sellers, we should be decenter? Not as we please inter custom, frugality, use, and morality in the delectable depths of wine cellars? Midnights of revel and noondays of song, is it so wrong? Go to the devil! I tell you that we, while you are smirking and lying and shirking life's duty of duties, honest sincerity, we are in verity free, free to rejoice in blisses and beauties, free as the voice of the wind as it passes, free as the bird in the weft of the grasses, free as the word of the sun to the sea, free. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Waif by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Do you know what it is to be vagrant born? A waif is only a waif. And so for another idle hour I sit, in large content while the fire burns low. I gossip here to my crony heart of the day just over, and count it one of the royal elemental days, though its dreams were few and its deeds were none. Outside the winter, inside the warmth and a sweet oblivion of turmoil. Why? All for a gentle girlish hand with its warm and lingering goodbye. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Joys of the Road by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Now the joys of the road are chiefly these: a crimson touch on the hardwood trees, a vagrant's morning white and blue in early fall when the wind walks too, a shadowy highway cool and brown alluring up and enticing down, from rippled water to dappled swamp, from purple glory to scarlet pomp, the outward eye, the quiet will, and the striding heart from hill to hill, the tempter apple over the fence, the cobweb bloom on the yellow quince, the palish asters along the wood, a lyric touch of solitude, an open hand, an easy shoe, and a hope to make the day go through, another to sleep with, and a third to wake me up at the voice of a bird, the resonant far listening morn, and the hoarse whisper of the corn, the crickets mourning their comrades lost in the night's retreat from the gathering frost. Or is it their slogan, plaintive and shrill, as they beat on their corslets, valiant still? A hunger fit for the kings of the sea, and a loaf of bread for Dickon and me, a thirst like that of the thirsty sword, and a jug of cider on the board, an idle moon, a bubbling spring, the sea in the pine tops murmuring, a scrap of gossip at the ferry, a comrade neither glum nor merry, asking nothing, revealing naught, but minting his words from a fund of thought, a keeper of silence eloquent, needy, yet royally well content, of the mettled breed, yet abhorring strife, and full of the mellow juice of life, a taster of wine, with an eye for a maid, never too bold and never afraid. Never heart whole, never heart sick, these are the things I worship in Dick. No fidget and no reformer, just a calm observer of ought and must. A lover of books, but a reader of man, no cynic and no charlatan, who never defers and never demands, but smiling takes the world in his hands, seeing it as good as when God first saw and gave it the weight of his will for law. And oh, the joy that is never won, but follows and follows the journeying sun. By marsh and tide, by meadow and stream, a will o' the wind, a light o' dream. Delusion afar, delight anear, from morrow to morrow, from year to year. A jack-o'-lantern, a fairy fire, a dare, a bliss, and a desire. The racy smell of the forest loam, when the stealthy, sad heart leaves go home. O leaves, I am one with you, of the mould and the sun and the wind and the dew. The broad gold wake of the afternoon, the silent fleck of the cold new moon, the sound of the hollow sea's release from stormy tumult to starry peace, with only another league to wend, and two brown arms at the journey's end. These are the joys of the open road for him who travels without a load. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Evening on the Potomac by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. The fervid breath of our flushed southern May is sweet upon the city's throat and lips, as a lover's whose tired arm slips listlessly over the shoulder of a queen. Far away the river melts in the unseen. O beautiful girl city, how she dips her feet in the stream, with a touch that is half a kiss and half a dream. Her face is very fair, with flowers for smiles and sunlight in her hair. My Westland flower town, how serene she is! Here on this hill from which I look at her, all is still as if a worshipper left at some shrine his offering. Soft winds kiss my cheek with a slow lingering, alluring whisper where the laurels stir wiles my heart back to woodland word again. But lo, across the sky the sunset couriers run, and I remain to watch the imperial pageant of the sun mock me, an impotent Cortez here below with splendors of its vaster Mexico. O El Dorado of the templed clouds, O golden city of the western sky, not like the Spaniard would I storm thy gates, not like the babe stretch chubby hands and cry. To have thee for a toy, but far from crowds, like my fond brother in the ferny glen, peer from the wood's edge while thy glory waits, and in the darkening thickets plunge again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Spring Song by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by Kate Follis. Spring Song. Make me over, Mother April, when the sap begins to stir, when thy flowery hand delivers all the mountain-prisoned rivers, and thy great heart beats and quivers to revive the days that were. Make me over, Mother April, when the sap begins to stir. Take my dust in all my dreaming, count my heartbeats one by one. Send them where the winters perish, then some golden noon recherish, and restore them in the sun, flower and scent, and dust and dreaming, with their heartbeats every one. Set me in the urge and tide drift of the streaming hosts a-wing, breast of scarlet, throat of yellow, raucous challenge, wooings mellow, every migrant is my fellow, making northward with the spring. Loose me in the urge and tide drift of the streaming hosts a-wing. Shrilling pipe or fluting whistle, in the valleys come again, fife of frog and call of tree-toad, all my brothers, 5 or 3-toed, with their revel no more vetoed, making music in the rain. Shrilling pipe or fluting whistle, in the valleys come again. Make me of thy seed tomorrow, when the sap begins to stir. Tawny Lightfoot, sleepy Bruin, Bright Eyes in the orchard ruin, Gnarl, the good life goes a-skewin', Whiskey Jack or Tanager. Make me anything tomorrow, when the sap begins to stir. Make me even, how do I know, like my friend the gargoyle there. It may be the heart within him swells that doltish hands should pin him, fixed forever in mid-air. Make me even sport for swallows, like the soaring gargoyle there. Give me the old clue to follow through the labyrinth of night, clod of clay with heart of fire, things that burrow and aspire, with the vanishing desire for the perishing delight. Only the old clue to follow through the labyrinth of night. Make me over, Mother April, when the sap begins to stir. Fashion me from swamp or meadow, garden plot or ferny shadow, hyacinth or humble burr. Make me over, Mother April, when the sap begins to stir. Let me hear the far low summons when the silver winds return. Rills that run and streams that stammer, Golden Wing with his loud hammer, icy brooks that brawl and clamour where the Indian willows burn. Let me hearken to the calling when the silver winds return, till recurring and recurring, long since wandered and come back, like a whim of Griegs or Gunads, this same self bird bud or blue nose. Some day I may capture, who knows? Just the one last joy I lack, waking to the far new summons when the old spring winds come back. For I have no choice of being when the sap begins to climb, strong insistence, sweet intrusion, vast and verges of illusion. So I win, to time's confusion, the one perfect pearl of time, joy and joy and joy forever, till the sap forgets to climb. Make me over in the morning from the rag-bag of the world, scraps of dream and duds of daring, home-brought stuff from far seafaring, faded colours once so flaring, shreds of banners long since furled, hues of ash and glints of glory in the rag-bag of the world. Let me taste the old immortal indolence of life once more, not recalling nor foreseeing. Let the great slow joys of being well my heart through as of yore. Let me taste the old immortal indolence of life once more. Give me the old drink for rapture, the delirium to drain. All my fellows drank in plenty at the 80 inns and 20, from the mountains to the main. Give me the old drink for rapture, the delirium to drain. Only make me over April, when the sap begins to stir. Make me man or make me woman, make me oaf or ape or human, cup of flower or cone of fir. Make me anything but neuter when the sap begins to stir. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Faun, a Fragment, by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY, read for LibriVox.org by Kate Follis. The Faun, a Fragment. I will go out to grass with that old king, for I am weary of clothes and cooks. I long to lie along the banks of brooks, and watch the boughs above me sway and swing. Come, I will pluck off custom's livery, nor longer be a lackey to old Time. Time shall serve me, and at my feet shall fling the spoil of listless minutes. I shall climb the wild trees for my food, and run through dale and upland as a fox runs free, laugh for cool joy, and sleep in the warm sun, and men will call me mad like that old king. For I am woodland-natured, and have made dryads my bedfellows, and I have played with the sleek naiads in the splash of pools, and made a mock of gowned and trousered fools. Helen, none knows better than thou how like a fawn I strayed, and I am half fawn now, and my heart goes out to the forest and the crack of twigs, the drip of wet leaves, and the low soft laughter of brooks that chuckle o'er old mossy jests and say them over to themselves, the nests of squirrels and the holes the chipmunk digs, where through the branches the slant rays dapple with sunlight the leaf-matted ground, and the wind comes with blown vesture rustling after, and through the woven lattice of crisp sound a bird's song lightens like a maiden's face. O wildwood Helen, let them strive and fret, those goggled men with their dissecting knives. Let them in charnel houses pass their lives, and seek in death life's secret. And let those hard-faced worldlings prematurely old gnaw their thin lips with vain desire to get Portia's fair fame, or Lesbia's carcanet, or crown of Caesar or Catullus, Apicius' lampreys, or Crassus' gold. For these consider many things, but yet by land nor sea they shall not find the way to Arcady, the old home of the awful heart-dear mother, whereto child dreams and long rememberings lull us, far from the cares that overlay and smother the memories of old woodland outdoor mirth, and the dim first life-burst centuries ago, the sense of the freedom and nearness of earth. Nay, this they shall not know, for who goes thither leaves all the cark and clutch of his soul behind, the doves defiled and the serpents shrined, the hates that wax and the hopes that wither, nor does he journey seeking where it be, but wakes and finds himself in Arcady. Hiss, there's a stir in the brush. Was it a face through the leaves? Back of the laurels a scurry and rush, hillward, then silence except for the thrush that throws one song from the dark of the bush and is gone. And I plunge in the wood, and the swift soul cleaves through the swirl and the flow of the leaves, as a swimmer stands with his white limbs bare to the sun for the space that a breath is held, and drops in the sea. And the undulant woodland folds round me, intimate, fluctuant, free, like the clasp and the cling of waters, and the reach and the effort is done. There is only the glory of living, exultant to be. O goodly damp smell of the ground! O rough sweet bark of the trees! O clear sharp cracklings of sound! O life that's a thrill and a bound with the vigour of boyhood and morning and the noontide's rapture of ease! Was there ever a weary heart in the world, a lag in the body's urge or flag of the spirit's wings? Did a man's heart ever break for a lost hope's sake? For here there is lilt in the quiet, and calm in the quiver of things. This old oak, grey grown and knurled, solemn and sturdy and big, is as young of heart, as alert and elate in his rest, as the nuthatch there, that clings to the tip of the twig, and scolds at the wind that it buffets too rudely its nest. Oh, what is it breathes in the air? Oh, what is it touches my cheek? There's a sense of a presence that lurks in the branches, but where? Is it far? Is it far to seek? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Rover's Song by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. A Rover's Song. Snowdrift of the mountains, spindrift of the sea, we who down the border rove from gloom to glee. Snowdrift of the mountains, spindrift of the sea, there be no such gypsies over earth as we. Snowdrift of the mountains, spindrift of the sea, let us part the treasure of the world in three. Snowdrift of the mountains, spindrift of the sea, you shall keep your kingdoms, Jocelyn for me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Down the Songo by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by NoelBadrian. Part 1. Floating, floating, and all the stillness waits, and listens at the ivory gates, full of a dim, uncertain presage of some strange, undelivered message. There is no sound save from the bush, the alto of the shy wood thrush, and ever and anon the dip of a lazy oar. The rhythmic drowsiness keeps time to hazy subtleties of rhyme that seem to slip through the lulled soul to seek the sleepy shore. The idle clouds go floating by, above us sky, beneath us sky, the sun shines on us as we lie floating. It is a dream, it is a dream, my love. See how the ripples quiver at the prow, and all the long reflections shake unsteadily beneath the lake. The mists about the uplands show dim violet towers that come and go. Phantasmagoric palaces rise trembling there, as though one breath of waking weather would crash their airy walls together with sudden stress, while silent detonations shook the air, vast fabrics toppling to the ground and vanishing without a sound. Ah, love, these are not what we deem, it is a dream. Part 2. Let us dream on, then, dream and die, ere the dream pass. Let us for once, like idle flowers, let slip the unregarded hours, like the wise flowers that lie, unfretted by a feeble thought, future and past alike forgot, drinking the dew contentedly in the cool grass. Part 3. Look yonder where the clouds float. Could we glide, as they, across the sky's blue shoreless tide? What better were it than to dream, across yon lake and into this still stream? Part 4. trees and a glimpse of sky, and the slow river, quiet as a pool, and thou and I, and thou and I. Kiss me, how soft the air is, and how cool. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Wander Lovers by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Wander Lovers. Down the world with Marna, that's the life for me, wandering with the wandering wind, vagabond and unconfined, roving with the roving rain, its unboundaried domain, kith and kin of wander kind, children of the sea. Petrels of the sea drift, swallows of the lee, Arabs of the whole wide girth of the wind-encircled earth, in all climes we pitch our tents, cronies of the elements, with the secret lords of birth, intimate and free. All of seaboard knows us, from Fundy to the Keys, every bend and every creek of abundant Chesapeake, Ardice hills and Newport coves, and the far-off orange groves, where Floridian oceans break, tropic tiger seas. Down the world with Marna, tarrying there and here, just as much at home in Spain as in Tangier or Touraine. Shakespeare's Avon knows us well, and the crags of Neuchâtel, and the ancient Nile is fain of our coming near. Down the world with Marna, daughter of the air, Marna of the subtle grace, and the vision in her face, moving in the measures trod by the angels before God, with her sky-blue eyes amaze, and her sea-blue hair. Marna with the tree's life in her veins astir, Marna of the aspen heart, where the sudden quivers start, quick responsive, subtle, wild, artless as an artless child, spite of all her reach of art, oh, to roam with her. Marna with the wind's will, daughter of the sea, Marna of the quick disdain, starting at the dream of stain, at a smile with love aglow, at a frown a statued woe, standing pinnacled in pain, till a kiss sets free. Down the world with Marna, daughter of the fire, Marna of the deathless hope, still alert to win new scope, where the wings of life may spread for a flight unhazarded, dreaming of the speech to cope with the heart's desire. Marna of the far quest after the divine, striving ever for some goal past the blunder god's control, dreaming of potential years when no day shall dawn in fears. That's the Marna of my soul, wonder bride of mine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Discovery by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY, read for LibriVox.org by NoelBadrian. When the bugler morn shall wind his horn, and we wake to the wild to be, shall we open our eyes on the selfsame skies, and stare at the selfsame sea? O new, new day, though you bring no stay to the strain of the sameness grim, you are new, 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 new through and through, and strange as a lawless dream. Will the driftwood float by the lonely boat, and our prisoner hearts unbar, as it tells of the strand of an unseen land that lies not far, not far? O new, new hope, O sweep and scope of the glad unlying sea, you are new, 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 with the promise true of the dreamland isles to be. Will the land birds fly across the sky, though the land is not to see? Have they dipped and passed in the sea lines vast? Have we left the land a lee? O new despair! I thought the hopeless air grow foul with the calm and grieves. You are new, 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 and we cleave to you, as a soul to its freedom cleaves. Does the falling night hide fiends to fight, and phantoms to affray? What demons lurk in the grisly murk, as the night watch waits for day? O strange new gloom, we await the doom, and what doom none may deem, but it's new, 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 and we'll sail it through, while the mocking seagulls scream. A light in the dead of night, that lifts and sinks in the waves. What folk are they who have kindled its ray, men or the ghouls of graves? O new, new fear, near, near and near, and you bear us weal or woe. But you're new, 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 so a cheer for you, and onward, friend or foe. Shall the lookout call from the foretop tall, "Land, land!" with a maddened scream, and the crew in glee from the taffrail see, where the island palm trees dream? New heart, new eyes, for the morning skies are a chant with their green and gold. New, 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 new through and through, new, new till the dawn is old. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A More Ancient Mariner by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The swarthy bee is a buccaneer, a burly velveted rover, who loves the booming wind in his ear as he sails the seas of clover. A waif of the goblin pirate crew, but not a soul to deplore him, he steers for the open verge of blue with the filmy world before him. His flimsy sails abroad in the wind are shivered with fairy thunder. On a line that sings to the light of his wings, he makes for the lands of wonder. He harries the ports of the hollyhocks, and levies on poor sweetbriar. He drinks the whitest wine of phlox, and the rose is his desire. He hangs in the willows a night and a day, he rifles the buckwheat patches, then battens his store of pelf galore under the tautest hatches. He woos the poppy and weds the peach, inveigles daffodilly, and then like a tramp abandons each for the gorgeous candelily. There's not a soul in the garden world but wishes the day were shorter, when Mariner B. puts out to sea with the wind in the proper quarter. Or so they say, but I have my doubts, for the flowers are only human, and the valor and gold of a vagrant bold were always dear to woman. He dares to boast along the coast the beauty of highland heather, how he and she, with night on the sea, lay out on the hills together. He pilfers from every port of the wind, from April to golden autumn, but the thieving ways of his mortal days are those his mother taught him. His morals are mixed, but his will is fixed. He prospers after his kind, and follows an instinct compass sure the philosophers call blind. And that is why, when he comes to die, he'll have an easier sentence than some one I know who thinks just so, and then leaves room for repentance. He never could box the compass round. He doesn't know port from starboard, but he knows the gates of the sundown straits, where the choicest goods are harbored. He never could see the rule of three, but he knows a rule of thumb better than Euclid's, better than yours, or the teacher's yet to come. He knows the smell of the hydromel, as if 2 and 2 were 5, and hides it away for a year and a day in his own hexagonal hive. Out in the day, haphazard alone, booms the old vagrant hummer, with only his whim to pilot him through the splendid vast of summer. He steers and steers on the slant of the gale, like the fiend of Vanderdecken, and there's never an unknown course to sail but his crazy log can reckon. He drones along with his rough sea-song, and the throat of a salty tar. This devil may care till he makes his lair by the light of a yellow star. He looks like a gentleman, lives like a lord, and works like a Trojan hero, then loafs all winter upon his hoard, with the mercury at 0. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Song by the Shore by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. A Song by the Shore. Lose and love is love's first art. So it was with thee and me, for I first beheld thy heart on the night I last saw thee. Pine woods and mysteries, sea sands and sorrows, hearts fluttered by a breeze that bodes dark morrows, bodes dark morrows. Moonlight in sweet overflow poured upon the earth and sea, love light with intenser glow in the deeps of thee and me, clasped hands and silences, hearts faint and throbbing, the weak wind sighing in the trees, the strong surf sobbing, the strong surf sobbing. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Hill Song by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. A Hill Song. Hills, where once my love and I let the hours go laughing by, all your woods and dales are sad, you have lost your Oread. Falling leaves, silent woodlands, half your loveliness is fled. Goldenrod, whither now? Winter winds, come hither now. All the summer joy is dead. There's a sense of something gone in the grass I linger on. There's an under voice that grieves in the rustling of the leaves. Pine-clad peaks, rushing waters, glens where we were once so glad. There's a light passed from you, there's a joy outcast from you. You have lost your Oread. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
At Sea by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. As a brave man faces the foe, alone against hundreds, and sees death grin in his teeth, but, shutting his lips, fights on to the end, without speech, without hope, without flinching. So, silently, grimly, the steamer lurches ahead through the night. A beacon light far off, twinkling across the waves like a star, but no star in the dark overhead. The splash of waters at the prow, and the evil light of the death fires flitting like will-o'-the-wisps beneath, and beyond, silence and night. I sit by the taffrail, alone in the dark and the blown cold mist and the spray, feeling myself swept on irresistibly, sunk in the night and the sea, and made one with their footfallless onrush, letting myself be borne like a spar adrift helplessly into the night. Without fear, without wish, insensate save of a chill, crushed ache in my heart, careless whither the steamer is going, conscious only as in a dream of the wet and the dark, and of a form that looms and fades indistinctly everywhere out of the night. O love, how came I here? Shall I wake at thy side and smile at my dream? The dream that grips me so hard that I cannot wake nor stir. O love, my own love, found but to be lost. My soul sends over the waters a wild, inarticulate cry, like a gull's scream heard in the night. The mist creeps closer. The beacon vanishes astern. The sea's monotonous noises lapse through the drizzle with a listless, subsiding cadence. And thou, O love, and the sea throb on in my brain together, while the steamer plunges along, butting its way through the night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Isabel by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by Anusha, Iyer. In her body's perfect sweet, suppleness and languor meet, arms that move like lapsing billows, breasts that love would make his pillows, eyes where vision melts in bliss, lips that ripen to a kiss. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Contemporaries by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. A barbered woman's man, yes, so he seemed to me a 12 months since, and so he may be, let it go, admit his flaws, we need not wince to find our noblest not all great. What of it? He is still the prince, and we the pages of his state. The world applauds his words, his fame is noised wherever knowledge be. Even the trader hears his name, as one far inland hears the sea. The lady quotes him to the beau across a cup of Russian tea. They know him, and they do not know. I know him. In the nascent years men's eyes shall see him as one crowned. His voice shall gather in their ears, with each new age prophetic sound, and you and I and all the rest, whose brows today are laurel bound, shall be but plumes upon his crest. A year ago this man was poor, this Alfred whom the nations praise. He stood a beggar at my door for one mere word to help him raise from fainting limbs and shoulders bent the burden of the weary days, and I withheld it, and he went. I knew him then as I know now, our largest heart, our loftiest mind, yet for the curls upon his brow and for his lisp I could not find the helping word, the cheering touch. Ah, to be just as well as kind, it cost so little and so much. It seemed unmanly in my sight that he, whose spirit was so strong, to lead the blind world to the light, should look so like the mincing throng who advertise the tailor's art. It angered me. I did him wrong. I grudged my groat and shut my heart. I might have been the prophet's friend, helped him who is to help the world. Now, when the striving is at end, the reek-stained battle banners furled, and the age hears its muster call, then I, because his hair was curled, I shall have lost my chance. That's all. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Two Bobbies by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Two Bobbies. Bobby Burns and Bobby Browning, they're the boys I'd like to see. Though I'm not the boy for Bobby, Bobby is the boy for me. Bobby Browning was the good boy, turned the language inside out, wrote his plays and had his days, died, and held his peace, no doubt. Poor North Bobby was the bad boy, bad, 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 bad Bobby Burns, loved and made the world his lover, kissed and barleycomed by turns. London's dweller, child of wisdom, kept his counsel, took his toll. Ayrshire's vagrant paid the piper, lost the game, God save his soul. Bobby Burns and Bobby Browning, what's the difference, you see? Bob the lover, Bob the lawyer, Bobby is the boy for me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Toast by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by Anusha Iyer. Here's a health to thee, Roberts, and here's a health to me, and here's to all the pretty girls from Denver to the sea. Here's to mine, and here's to thine. Now's the time to clink it. Here's a flagon of old wine, and here are we to drink it. Wine that maketh glad the heart of the bully boy. Here's the toast that we love most, love and song and joy. Song that is the flower of love, and joy that is the fruit. Here's the love of woman, lad, and here's our love to boot. You and I are far too wise not to fill our glasses. Here's to me, and here's to thee, and here's to all the lasses. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Kavanagh by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Kavanagh. A stone jug and a pewter mug, and a table set for three. A jug and a mug at every place, and a biscuit or two with brie. 3 stone jugs of Cruiskin lawn, and a cheese like crusted foam. The Kavanagh receives tonight, MacMurrough is at home. We 3 and the barley brie, and a health to the one away, who drifts down careless Italy, God's wanderer and astray. For friends are more than Arno's store of garner charm, and he were blither with us here the night than Titian bids him be. Throw ope the window to the stars, and let the warm night in. Who knows what revelry in Mars may rhyme with rousekin? Fill up and drain the loving cup, and leave no drop to waste. The moon looks in to see what's up, begad she'd like a taste. What odds if Leinster's kingly role be now an idle thing? The world is his who takes his toll, a vagrant or a king. What though the crown be melted down, and the heir a gipsy roam? The Kavanagh receives tonight, MacMurrough is at home. We 3 and the barley brie, and the moonlight on the floor. Who were a man to do with less? What emperor has more? 3 stone jugs of Cruiskin lawn, and 3 stout hearts to drain. A slanter to the truth in the heart of youth, and the joy of the love of man. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Captain of the Press Gang by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Shipmate, leave the ghostly shadows where thy boon companions throng. We will put to sea together through the twilight with a song. Leering closer, rank and girding in this black port where we bide. Reel 1,000 flaring faces, but escape is on the tide. Let the tap rooms of the city reek till the red dawn comes round. There is better wine in plenty on the cruise where we are bound. I've aboard 100 messmates, better than these longshore knaves. There is wreckage on the shallows, it's the open sea that saves. Hark, let us not hear it calling, that's the voice thy father knew, when he took the king's good cutlass in his grip and fought it through. Who would palter at press money when he heard that sea cry vast? That's the call makes lords of lubbers when they ship before the mast. Let thy cronies of the tavern keep their kisses bought with gold. On the high seas there are regions where the heart is never old. where the great winds every morning sweep the sea floor clean and white, and upon the steel blue arches burnish the great stars of night. There the open hand will lose not, nor the loosened tongue betray. Signed and with our sailing orders, we will clear before the day. On the shining yards of heaven, see a wider dawn unfurled. The eternal slaves of beauty are the masters of the world. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Buccaneers by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. Oh, not for us the easy mirth of men that never roam, the crackling of the narrow hearth, the cabined joys of home. Keep your tame, regulated glee, O pale, protected state. Our dwelling place is on the sea, our joy the joy of fate. No long caresses give us ease, no lazy languors warm. We seize our mates as the seagull sees, and leave them to the storm. But in the bridal halls of gloom, the couch is stern and straight. For us the marriage rite of doom, the nuptial joy of fate. Wine for the weaklings of the town, their lucky toast to drain. Our skull for them whose star goes down, our drink the drink of men. No Bacchic ivy for our brows, like Vikings we await the grim, ungarlanded carouse we keep tonight with fate. Ho, gamesters of the pampered court, what stakes are those at strife? Your thousands are but paltry sport to them that play for life. You risk doubloons and hold your breath, win groats and wax elate. But we throw loaded dice with death and call the turn on fate. The kings of earth are crowned with care, their poets wail and sigh. Our music is to do and dare, our empire is to die. Against the storm we fling our glee and shout till time abate. The exultation of the sea, the fearful joy of fate. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The War-Song of Gamelbar by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The War-Song of Gamelbar. Bowmen, shout for Gamelbar, winds unthrottle the wolves of war, heave a breath and dare a death for the doom of Gamelbar. Wealth for Gamel, wine for Gamel, crimson wine for Gamelbar. O sleep for a knave with his sins in the sod, and death for the brave with his glory up to God, and joy for the girl, and ease for the churl, but the great game of war for our Lord Gamelbar. Gamelbar. Spearmen shout for Gamelbar, with his Saxon 30 score. Heave a sword for our overlord, Lord of warriors, Gamelbar. Life for Gamel, love for Gamel, lady loves for Gamelbar. Horsemen shout for Gamelbar, swim the ford and climb the score. Heave a hand for the maiden land of Gamelbar. Glory for Gamel, gold for Gamel, yellow gold for Gamelbar. Armourers for Gamelbar, rivet and forge and fear no scar. Heave a hammer with anvil clamour, to weld and brace for Gamelbar. Ring for Gamel, rung for Gamel, ring, rung, ring for Gamelbar. Yeomen shout for Gamelbar, and his battle hand in war. Heave his pennon, cheer his men on, in the ranks of Gamelbar. Strength for Gamel, song for Gamel, one war song for Gamelbar. Roncliffe shout for Gamelbar, Manthorpe, Brian, Castlefar. Heave, Thorparch of the waving larch, and Spofford's Thane, for Gamelbar! Blaze for Gamel, Brame for Gamel, rough Harlington for Gamelbar! Maidens, strew for Gamelbar roses down his way to war. Heave a handful, fill the land full of your gifts to Gamelbar. Dream of Gamel, dance for Gamel, dance in the halls for Gamelbar. Servitors, shout for Gamelbar, roast the ox and stick the boar. Heave a bone to Gaunt Haroun, the great war-hound of Gamelbar. Meat for Gamel, mirth for Gamel, mirth at the board for Gamelbar. Trumpets, speak for Gamelbar, blare as ye never blared before. Heave a bray in the horns today, the red war horns of Gamelbar. Tonight for Gamel, the north for Gamel, with fires on the hills for Gamelbar. Shout for Gamel, Gamelbar, till your throats can shout no more. Heave a cry as he rideth by, sons of Orm for Gamelbar, folk for Gamel, fame for Gamel, years and fame for Gamelbar. O sleep for a knave with his sins in the sod, and death for the brave with his glory up to God, and joy for the girl, and ease for the churl, but a great game of war for our Lord Gamelbar. Gamelbar. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Outlaw by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Outlaw. Oh, let my lord laugh in his halls, when he the tale shall tell. But woe to Jarlwell and his walls, when I shall laugh as well. And he that laughs the last, lads, laughs well, laughs well. He's lord of many a burg and farm, and mickle thralls and gold, and I am but my own right arm, my dwelling place the wold. But when we twain meet face to face, he will not laugh so bold. The shame he chuckles as he shows, this time he need not tell. I'll give his body to the crows, and his black soul to hell. For he that laughs the last, lads, laughs well, laughs well. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The King's Son by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The King's Son. Daughter, daughter, marry no man, though a king's son come to woo, if he be not more than blessing or ban to the secret soul of you. 'Tis the king's son indeed, I ween, and he left me even but now, and he shall make me a dazzling queen, with a gold crown on my brow. And are you one that a golden crown or the lust of a name can lure? You had better wed with a country clown, and keep your young heart pure. Mother, the king has sworn, and said that his son shall wed but me, and I must gang to the prince's bed, or a traitor I shall be. Oh, what care you for an old man's wrath, or what care you for a king? I had rather you fled on an outlaw's path, a rebel, a hunted thing. Mother, it is my father's will, for the king has promised him fair, a goodly earldom of hollow and hill, and a coronate to wear. Then woe is worth a father's name, for it names your dourest foe. I had rather you came the child of shame, than to have you fathered so. Mother, I shall have gold enow, though love be never mine, to buy all else that the world can show, of good and fair and fine. Oh, what care you for a prince's gold, or the key of a kingdom still? I had rather see you a harlot bold, that sins of her own free will. For I have been wife for the stomach's sake, and I know whereof I say. A harlot is sold for a passing slake, but a wife is sold for aye. Body and soul for a lifetime sell, and the price of the sale shall be, that you shall be harlot and slave as well, until death set you free. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Laurana's Song for a Lady of Venice by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey. Read for LibriVox.org by Kate Follis. Laurana's Song for a Lady of Venice. Who'll have the crumpled pieces of a heart? Let him take mine. Who'll give his whole of passion for a part and call it divine? Who'll have the soiled remainder of desire? Who'll warm his fingers at a burnt-out fire? Who'll drink the lees of love and cast in the mire the nobler wine? Let him come here and kiss me on the mouth and have his will. Love dead and dry as summer in the south, when winds are still and all the leafage shrivels in the heat. Let him come here and linger at my feet till he grow weary with the oversweet and die or kill. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Launa Dee by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Launa Dee. Weary, oh so weary with it all. Sunny days or dreary, how they pall. Why should we be heroes, Launa Dee, striving to no winning? Let the world be zeros, as in the beginning, let it be. What good comes of toiling when all's done? Frail green sprays for spoiling of the sun. Laurel leaf or myrtle, love or fame. Ah, what odds, what spray sweet! Time that makes life fertile, makes its blooms decay sweet, as they came. Lie here with me dreaming, cheek to cheek, lithe limbs twined and gleaming, brown and sleek, like two serpents coiling in their lair. Where's the good of wreathing sprays for time's despoiling? Let me feel your breathing in my hair. You and I together, was it so? In the August weather, long ago. Did we kiss and fellow, side by side, till the sunbeams quickened from our stalks great yellow sunflowers, till we sickened there and died? Were we tigers creeping through the glade, where our prey lay sleeping, unafraid, in some eastern jungle? Better so. I am sure the snarling beasts could never bungle life as men do, darling, who have no. Ah, if all of life, love, were the living, just to cease from strife, love, and from grieving, let the swift world pass us, you and me, stilled from all aspiring, Sinai or Parnassus, longer worth desiring, Launa Dee. Just to live like lilies in the lake, where no thought nor will is to mistake. Just to lose the human eyes that weep, just to cease from seeming longer man and woman, just to reach the dreaming and the sleep. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Mendicants by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. We are as mendicants who wait along the roadside in the sun. Tatters of yesterday and shreds of morrow clothe us every one. And some are dotards who believe and glory in the days of old, while some are dreamers harping still upon an unknown age of gold. Hopeless or witless, not one heeds as lavish time comes down the way and tosses in the suppliant hat one great new minted gold today. Ungrateful heart and grudging thanks, his beggar's wisdom only sees housing and bread and beer enough. He knows no other thing than these. O foolish ones, put by your care. Where wants are many, joys are few, and at the wilding springs of peace God keeps an open house for you. But that some Fortunatus gift is lying there within his hand, more costly than a pot of pearls, his dullness does not understand. And so his creature heart is filled, his shrunken self goes starved away. Let him wear brand new garments still, who has a threadbare soul, I say. But there be others, happier few, the vagabondish sons of God, who know the byways and the flowers, and care not how the world may plod. They idle down the traffic lands, and loiter through the woods with spring. To them the glory of the earth is but to hear a bluebird sing. They too receive each one his day, but their wise heart knows many things beyond the sating of desire, above the dignity of kings. One I remember kept his coin, and laughing flipped it in the air, but when two strolling pipe players came by, he tossed it to the pair. Spendthrift of joy, his childish heart danced to their wild outlandish bars. Then supperless he laid him down that night and slept beneath the stars. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Marching Morrows by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Marching Morrows. Now gird thee well for courage, my knight of 20 year, against the marching morrows that fill the world with fear. The flowers fade before them, the summer leaves the hill, their trumpets range the morning, and those who hear grow still. Like pillagers of harvest, their fame is far abroad, as grey remorseless troopers that plunder and maraud. The dust is on their corselets, their marching fills the world, with conquest after conquest their banners are unfurled. They overthrow the battles of every lord of war, from world-dominioned cities wipe out the names they bore. Sorab, Rameses, Roland, Ramoth, Napoleon, Tyre, and the Romeward Huns of Attila, alas for their desire! By April and by autumn they perish in their pride, and still they close and gather out of the mountain side. The tanned and tameless children of the wild elder earth, with stature of the north lights, they have the stars for girth. There's not a hand to stay them, of all the hearts that brave, no captain to undo them, no cunning to offstave. Yet fear thou not, if haply thou be the kingly one, they'll set thee in their vanguard, to lead them round the sun. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In the Workshop by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Anusha Iyer. Once in the workshop, ages ago, the clay was wet and the fire was low, and he who was bent on fashioning man moulded a shape from a clod, and put the loyal heart therein, while another stood watching by. "What's that?" said Beelzebub. "A lover," said God. And Beelzebub frowned, for he knew that kind. And then God fashioned a fellow shape, as lithe as a willow rod, and gave it the merry roving eye and the range of the open road. "What's that?" said Beelzebub. "A vagrant," said God. And Beelzebub smiled, for he knew that kind. And last of all God fashioned a form, and gave it what was odd, the loyal heart and the roving eye, and he whistled, light of care. "What's that?" said Beelzebub. "A poet," said God. And Beelzebub frowned, for he did not know. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Mote by Bliss Carman and Richard Hovey, read for LibriVox.org by Anusha Iyer. Two shapes of august bearing, seraph tall, of indolent imperturbable regard, stood in the tavern door to drink, as the first lifted his glass to let the warm light melt in the slow bubbles of the wine, a sunbeam, red and broad as smouldering autumn, smote down through its mystery, and a single fleck, the tiniest sun-mote settling through the air, fell on the grape-dark surface, and there swam. Gently the drinker with fastidious care stretched hand to clear the speck away. No, no, his comrade stayed his arm. Why, said the first, what would you have me do? Ah, let it float a moment longer. And the second smiled. Do you not know what that is? No, indeed. A mere dust mote. A speck of soot, you think. A plague germ still unsatisfied. It is not. That is the earth. See, I will stretch my hand between it and the sun. The passing shadow gives its poor dwellers a glacial period. Let it but stand an hour, it would dissolve, intangible as the colour of the wine. There, throw it away now. Lift it from the sweet, enveloping flood it has enjoyed so well. He smiled as only those who live can smile. Its time is done, its revelry complete, its being accomplished. Let us drink again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In the House of Idiedaily by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. In the House of Idiedaily. Oh, but life went gaily, gaily, in the House of Idiedaily. There were always throats to sing down the river banks with spring, when the stir of heart's desire set the sapling's heart on fire. Bobolincolns in the meadows, leisure in the purple shadows, till the poppies without number bowed their heads in crimson slumber, and the twilight came to cover every unreluctant lover. Not a knight but some brown maiden bettered all the dusk she strayed in, while the roses in her hair bankrupted oblivion there. Oh, but life went gaily, gaily, in the House of Idiedaily. But this hostelry, the Barrow, with its chambers bare and narrow, mean, ill-windowed, damp and wormy, where the silence makes you squirmy, and the guests are never seen to, is a vile place, a mere lean-to. Not a traveller speaks well of, even worse than I heard tell of. Mouldy, ramshackle, and foul, who are the dwelling for a soul. Oh, but life went gaily, gaily, in the House of Idiedaily. There the hearth was always warm from the slander of the storm. There your comrade was your neighbour, living on tomorrow's labour, and the board was always steaming, though Sir Ringlets might be dreaming. Not a plate but scoffed at porridge, not a cup but floated borage. There were always jugs of sherry waiting for the makers merry, and a dark Burgundian wine that would make a fool divine. Oh, but life went gaily, gaily, in the House of Idiedaily. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Resignation by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by Eva K. Resignation. When I am only fit to go to bed, or hobble out to sit within the sun, ring down the curtain, say the play is done, and the last petals of the poppy shed. I do not want to live when I am old. I have no use for things I cannot love, and when the day that I am talking of, which God forfend, is come, it will be cold. But if there is another place than this, where all the men will greet me as old man, and all the women wrap me in a smile, where money is more useless than a kiss, and good wine is not put beneath the ban,
I will go there and stay a little while. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Comrades by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY. Read for LibriVox.org by tovarisch. Comrades, pour the wine tonight, for the parting is with dawn. Oh, the clink of cups together, with the daylight coming on. Greet the morn with a double horn, when strong men drink together. Comrades, gird your swords tonight, for the battle is with dawn. Oh, the clash of shields together, with the triumph coming on. Greet the foe and lay him low, when strong men fight together. Comrades, watch the tides tonight, for the sailing is with dawn. Oh, to face the spray together, with the tempest coming on. Greet the sea with a shout of glee, when strong men roam together. Comrades, give a cheer tonight, for the dying is with dawn. Oh, to meet the stars together, with the silence coming on. Greet the end as a friend, when strong men die together. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Songs from Vagabondia by Bliss CARMAN and Richard HOVEY.